Act 5, Scene 5. This scene takes place inside Macbeth's castle at Dunsinane. The English army, together with the deserters from Scotland, is marching towards his castle. Macbeth is confident to be secure because of his fortified castle, which can withstand the attack of the enemy. He says, "Our castle's strength will laugh a siege to scorn. Here let them lie, till famine and the ague eat them up." Macbeth asks his soldiers to display their banners on the walls of the castle. Suddenly, a heart-rending cry of lamentation is heard. Macbeth says to himself that nothing can frighten him now, but it had not been so in the past. He remembers earlier times when just an ordinary shriek at night would freeze his mind and body and would make his hair stand on end, as if it were alive. But now he has experienced horrors, his evil deeds have hardened him, and therefore no horrid sights or sounds can startle him. Macbeth wants to know the cause of the cry of the lamentation. He was told that the queen is dead. Lady Macbeth is dead. Macbeth reflects on the futility of life. He feels that the days pass at a slow pace till the last recorded moment is reached. He says that human life is very brief, like that of a burning candle. It is a walking shadow. It is like a stage actor who struts and frets on the stage for some time and vanishes into nothingness. Life is like a story told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. When Macbeth is thinking about the futility of human life, a messenger brings some alarming news. He tells Macbeth that when he was standing on duty on the hill, Birnam Wood seemed moving towards Dunsinane. This upsets Macbeth. He tells the messenger that if the news turns out to be false, the messenger would be hanged alive on the next tree. If it is true, he could hang Macbeth in the similar way. The reality is that Malcolm has asked each soldier to cut down a branch of a tree and carry it in his hands while marching in order to conceal their numbers. Macbeth has been relying on the prophecies of the witches blindly. Now he hears about the movement of Birnam Wood towards his castle. This has shattered his confidence. The witches had assured him that he would not be vanquished till Birnam Wood moves to Dunsinane. Macbeth suspects the equivocation in the language of the witches. He begins to doubt the double meaning in their prophecies, yet he has some hope that the messenger's report may turn out to be false. Macbeth continues to alternate between reckless confidence and utter despair. Brushing aside the apprehensive cries of "They come," he challenges his opponents with the banners on the outward walls and deriding them with the strength of his castle. In spite of all odds, Macbeth intends to go on fighting. He is ready to destroy the entire universe. His imagination is all that is left with him. He has now a distorted vision of life. Hearing the news that Birnam Wood seems to be moving towards Dunsinane, he orders his men to engage in hand-to-hand combat. By leaving his fortified castle, he causes the prophecies to come true. His anger at the equivocation of the fiend expresses itself in violent gestures of despair. Now that he is faced with his final challenge, he will fight to the finish. Only violent action will give him some satisfaction. So, line by line, Macbeth. Hang out our banners on the outward walls. The cry is still. They come. Our castle's strength will laugh a siege to scorn. Here let them lie, till famine and the ague eat them up. Were they not forced with those that should be ours, we might have met them dareful, beard to beard, and beat them backward home. What is that noise? He asks his soldiers to let their flags be hoisted on all through the outer walls of the castle. It means they all could hear that the enemy were coming, and the castle, Macbeth was very confident that this castle is very strong enough to mock any siege, that means to scorn. So he proudly declares or proudly believes blindly that his castle is so strong that it can withstand any sort of invasion. And he says, let the enemies stay here till famine and fever destroy them. So they will be here, they will be stationed here, they will try to fight, they'll try to break down, try to invade, try to do whatever. Only natural calamity will perish them, in futile attempts of entering into the castle. Were they not forced with those that should be ours? So if they had not been reinforced by those who should have been on our side, the deserting things he is talking about, we might have met them dareful, beard to beard. So he says that if they had not abandoned us, then we would have put up even a more bold, with greater force and vigor and strength, we would have attacked them and faced them face to face. We would have confronted them and driven them back to their own homes. And then there is a noise of crying from within. It is the cry of women, my lord. I have almost forgot the taste of fears. So he says, as if he has, for a long time since, he has never been afraid of anything. The time has been, my senses would have cooled to hear a night shriek. So a chill would run down his spines when he would have even heard at night anybody shriek at night, any owl shriek at night. And my fell of hair would at a dismal treatise. So, and my fell of hair, that is, and his hair would at once respond to the horror, and it would stand erect, as if, means it's just giving goosebumps, rouse and stir as life were in it, as if they had life within them. They would stand upright. And I have supped full with horrors, direness, familiar to my slaughterous thoughts, cannot once start me. So I have supped full, that means I have fed myself thoroughly with such horrors and with such experience of horrors. Horror has become so familiar as are his murderous thoughts and intentions. So my murderous thoughts, it cannot startle me anymore. Horror has become so familiar to my murderous thoughts and intentions and deeds that it can no more startle me, or it can no more annoy him, agitate him, or shock him. So wherefore was that cry? Yet he wants to know why. Why was that cry? What was it for? The queen, my lord, is dead. She should have died hereafter. There would have been a time for such a word. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. So he says that she should have died sometime in the future. Death is a mortal fact, and which nobody can evade, and therefore she should have died someday. So be it now. There would have been a more appropriate time for receiving such a message as to now, when he is venturing out into a battle. So he needs strength, and this news is obviously shattering him. So tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace. So in this slow speed, every new day is unfolding, and day after day it creeps on in trivial daily progress till the last moment is reached, to the last syllable of the recorded time. So till the last moment, the destined moment, eternity is reached, and all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death, and all our past days have merely foolishly been spent just to meet this final destined day. Out, brief candle, life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. So life is only a passing illusion. It's just like the short-lived flame of existence, which is supposed to be put out. And a poor actor who performs boastfully and anxiously on the stage, but suddenly disappears for good. So as if no matter how nicely he performs and how good he performs, how pompously he walks, ultimately everything will culminate into ashes or into the dust. That is death. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. So life is just like a story, an engrossing story, a convincing story, which is but told by a fool, a story full of noise and sensations, but adding up to nothing, ultimately ending abruptly, or just wasteful journey of life. Thou comest to use thy tongue, thy story quickly. So you have come to report something, the messenger he tells to, and then says, tell us quickly what you want to say. Gracious my lord, I should report that which I say I saw, but know not how to do it. So he says, I want to report something that I have seen, but I don't know how to put it. So how to explain what I have seen? So well say, sir, so just say it out. As I did stand my watch upon the hill, I looked toward Burnham, and anon methought the wood began to move. So he says, as I stood guard on the hill, I looked towards the Burnham, and at once I thought that the woods began to move. Well say, sir, as the liar and slave, let me endure your wrath, if it be not so. Within this 3 mile may you see it coming, I say, a moving grove. Messenger, when he was told that you are such a liar and a base fellow and a mean fellow, how can you say such an impossible thing? So the messenger says, I am prepared to face the consequences of your anger if my report proves false. You can see it for yourself, and it's coming within the distance of 3 miles. I insist, it's looking like a moving wood. So still he insists that what he has seen is like a moving forest. So if thou speakest false, upon the next tree shalt thou hang alive, till famine cling thee. So if you are speaking false, if this information is wrong, I shall hang you on the tree. I will hang you upon the next tree, upon the nearest tree, and there you will wither, and you will wither from hunger till flesh from your bones are torn apart by natural calamity, naturally. And if thy speech be sooth, I care not if thou dost for me as much. And if I can find that your information is true, then I shall not mind if you do the same to me. So I care not if thou dost for me as much. I pull in resolution and begin to doubt the equivocation of the fiend that lies like truth. So I pull in resolution. So he says, I now find my confidence somewhat restrained, somewhat shriveled up, because I think I can now see through the ambiguous statements of prophecies by the fiend, that is the devil, the witches, and how deceptively they sounded so true. And now I know that they were all false. Fear not till Burnham Wood to come to Dunsinane, and now a wood comes towards Dunsinane. So they promised me of security till the Burnham Wood didn't shift, and now it's shifting, it's coming. Arm, and out. If this which he vouches does appear, there is nor fleeing hence, nor tarrying here. So arm, get yourselves ready, take up your arms, move out to the battlefield and get ready, for if this what he alleges is true, if what he alleges is true, neither running away from here, nor remaining here will be of any use. So there is no point of waiting here or fleeing away from here. I begin to be aweary of the sun, and wish its estate of the world were now undone. Ring the alarm bell. So he says, I'm getting tired of life now, and I wish that the universe would come to an end. So he instructs then that ring the alarm bell, everyone. Blow wind, come to wreck. At least we'll die with harness on our back. So may the wind blow and bring on destruction more sooner and swifter. We shall at least die with our armor on. Now what he was saying in this speech is that when Macbeth is philosophizing over human life and its destined doom, there comes a messenger with alarming news. He informs Macbeth that when he was standing on their watch upon the hill, Burnham would seem to be moving. This is unbelievable for Macbeth, who wrathfully tells the messenger that if the news turns out to be false, the messenger would be hanged, and if it be proved true, he could treat Macbeth in equally the same way. In fact, the wood seems to be moving as Malcolm has asked his soldier to do that, and all through Macbeth has been fully relying on the prophecies of the witches. Now when he hears about the movement of Burnham Wood towards his castle, his faith is shaken for the first time. The witches had assured him that he had nothing to be afraid of till the Burnham Wood would come to Dunsinane. At last we find Macbeth suspecting the ambiguous nature of the the language of those witches who speak in terms of riddles which have the appearance of truth. They are deceptive. Inspired by the predictions of the evil sisters, he has so far given free rein to his confidence, which, like a fiery horse, has brought him to the brink of a precipice when he could rein in his confidence. The tragic irony of the hero's realization of the truth coming too late for his good is illustrated here. Macbeth only now realizes that the evil forces make one blind to truth's essence and make one mistake appearance for reality. Now, where Macbeth has said that a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon stage, it's also an allusion to, or it can be talked about or explained in the manner where Shakespeare himself has written the metaphor of players acting upon a stage in his play As You Like It, where he says, "All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts," and so on. So it's a very beautiful expression. This short scene has many metaphors which have to be explained, and the way Macbeth is still determined to fight in spite of knowing that he is moving forward or advancing towards his own doom.